Welcome to the Warsquared Fantasy Football Podcast, a full-service year-round podcast with weekly episodes to provide fans with info on their teams and players. Whether you're a newbie or a longtime veteran of the fantasy wars, Warsquared is the podcast for you. All right, here we go. We're going to go with recaps for Week 12 here. We got a few injuries to get to first. Well, one big note. Get ready, haters. Deshaun is back and starting this week at Houston. At least 10 of his defendants, claimants,
How about
accusers?
How about payees?
are going to show up.
Is payees the wrong word?
You're saying he's going to get 10 massages before the game?
No.
Holy crap.
He could be tired.
Wow. Can Bob Kraft, is Kraft going to skip the Patriots game and come down for this one?
Okay, what I think, when I read this article this morning, and I'm going, wow, who cares? They got paid and move on. They were willing participants in this whole thing. Got paid at the beginning, got paid at the end, and now they're going to come make a scene out of it.
America.
Well,
Yeah, only in America can you do that and get paid twice for one thing.
it's that they want to show that this isn't over. It's not forgiven. It's still an issue. It's out there, blah, blah.
How's it? I'm sorry. We better just move on before I say something that's going to offend a bunch of people.
In post-game, after the Chiefs-Rams game, McVay says Allen Robinson will have season-ending foot surgery. Apparently, he has already had it,
He has.
meaning it was dependent on whether they won or not that he would have this. Like, even had they beat the Chiefs, how in the hell were they going to be competitive?
No, their season's over.
They are.
Totally in the tank.
Well, you know who's really cheering the most for the Rams to have a crappy season?
OBJ?
Everybody who's got their draft pick.
Lions, who got their draft picks. I looked at the draft report again where they are predicted to have the third pick in the draft.
Oh, it'll be bad.
And we thought that was going to be the Lions pick. It's going to be the Rams pick instead.
Aaron Donald has a high ankle sprain. If Aaron Donald doesn't play, Katie bar the door. It's going to be the worst.
Lee.
It's already over. That cake is baked.
Jets running back Michael Carter, unknown severity ankle injury. They still haven't revealed it. I don't know if they had the MRI today or not, but he's going to miss a few games. I think it means that James Robinson will vault back into the start. He was a healthy scratch last week. I think it's because he doesn't play special teams.
Yeah, it's a numbers game there.
Darnell Mooney had season-ending ankle surgery today. Probably means more opportunity for Chase Claypool. Eddie Jackson, Bears safety, also injured in that game, also out for the season. Travis Etienne left the game against the Ravens early with a foot injury, but he says he's right for this week and he'll be okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. Eli Mitchell, San Francisco running back, who looked great last week, placed on IR with an MCL injury, out 6 to 8 weeks.
Is he Italian?
He is fragile. That is
Fragile.
true.
Mm-hmm.
He is more than fragile. He's fragile handled with care better bubble wrap.
And somebody shot his eye out, apparently.
Yeah. We will talk about who the replacements are for him later in our waiver section. Najee Harris left last night in the first half with a ab injury.
Hold on. I've never seen an ab injury make somebody limp.
Well, I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers, though. He had an oblique, and he
was a punctured lung.
Yeah, that he thought it was a punctured lung. He was kind of like,
yeah, but he was clearly limping coming out the field, and the abdomen, he was standing upright and straight when he came out the field.
Well, let's start. The knee bone's connected to the thigh bone. The thigh bone's connected to the hip. When do we get to the abdomen and the leg? I mean, come on.
You do, but you don't. There's soft tissue that does it, but I'm watching him walk the field. I'm going, that's clearly a foot injury, not an ab injury.
Now, we did say something about Aaron Rodgers. Originally, it was kind of thought that he might be out this game, but the MRI came back clean. He expects to play this week against the Bears.
Because he owns the Bears.
He does own them. I think that's really the only reason he wants to play is because it's the Bears and he wants to kill them again.
He doesn't want to turn over Jordan Love yet.
If he was playing, I don't know, say the 49ers, he'd be, yeah, that rib's really sore. I need to take this weekend off, coach.
Yeah.
By the way, Jordan Love came in and looked pretty damn good, didn't he?
Ooh, those passes that Jordan Love threw were bullets. I would love to see Jordan Love play out the rest of the season.
I would love to see what he could do playing for the rest of the season.
Well,
but you know what really impressed me the most about the throws Jordan Love made? Christian Watson turning the corner and going, bye, see you later.
I mean, I'd run him on crossing routes
all freaking day long.
80% of the time, because if he turns the corner, it's over.
You need to watch the tape on Tyreek Hill over and over and over again, because that's who you're going to be emulating.
Well, and he's a 6'4" version of him.
6'5".
I mean, shit.
I mean, when
a
he turned the
monster.
corner and turned on the Jets, he was gone.
How did all these D1 coaches miss this kid? North Dakota State. I mean, granted,
Sometimes
that's a
they develop-
dynasty up there, but
sometimes
how
they
in the
develop late.
hell did all these programs miss him?
He was probably like Scottie Pippen. Remember, Scottie Pippen, his senior year of high school to his freshman in college grew 6 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably the same thing. He was probably like a 6 foot, 6'1" kid, kind of fast,
Kinda?
not, but couldn't catch real well. And whoops, 3 years later, look at
Or
it.
they had a coach that's playing at safety rather than wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Went to North Dakota State and they went, wow, you'd be a great wide receiver. Let's try you there, son, and see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, some people just develop later than other
Chris
ones.
Kleiman recruit, I think.
Or was a quarterback and went there and said, we already got our quarterback, son.
Mm-hmm.
You're way too fast anyways.
Yeah.
Why don't you run?
But when he turned that corner, I was going, oh, he's going to, oh, damn.
Right. That's what I said.
That's what the DB said.
Yeah.
The DB's going, I hope this ain't on tape.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go back to Thursday morning. Bills 28, Lions 25. After the Lions tied the game with 28 seconds left, Josh Allen 253-2, 78-1 on the ground, hit Stephon Diggs to put him at 8 for 77-1 for 36 yards with 23 seconds left on the clock running to get in game-winning field goal range. Isaiah McKenzie had the big day, 6 for 96-1, but played second fiddle to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was the offense for the Lions, 9 for 122-1.
No, the offense was Jamal Williams.
No. Jamal Williams only had 1 touchdown.
Oh, I wish my running back could only get 1 touchdown every week, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, my running backs too.
My running backs do too, but I wish, Amon-Ra St. Brown, gonna hell of a wide receiver.
Yeah. I really wanted this to go to OT. I wanted to see the Lions beat the Bills.
I picked the Lions to beat the Bills,
You did.
and I'll pick them again this week because they're playing in Detroit again this week.
You're gonna-
Lions at this point in time to me look absolutely like a team that's on the go. And I hope they don't make the mistake of firing Dan Campbell thinking he's not getting the job done because he clearly is.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's going to happen at all. This is kind of remember when we did our recap show, we talked about the Lions had the exact record that I thought they would have.
Mm-hmm.
And we both had them finishing almost at 500.
Correct.
I think 7-10 is what we had them finishing. They can still do that.
Oh, easily. They're getting Jameson Williams this week.
Maybe.
You've said that for like a month now.
He's been activated and he's been projected to play for them this week.
Okay, Ross.
Yeah,
I'm not projecting him to score any points. I'm saying he's projected to play,
A
just
lot
like
of the
Mahomes is
stuff that
projected
I've
to play for
heard-
the Chiefs.
a lot of stuff that I've heard says they still may not activate him. They still may not have him play this year. And, part of it, I don't think I would either.
Well,
I think
I'm not sure how that works as far as service time and free agency and some of that stuff.
He
I'm
gets
not
count,
sure.
it gets counts towards a year towards his service time and stuff since he's been on the roster.
Okay.
Now, what I would do is I would activate him to get him acclimated to the speed and getting where he trusts the knee, put him in safe situations where he's running only certain routes rather than any double move, that type of move routes.
I think you can do that on the practice field. They're going nowhere.
But practice speed is different, completely different than game speed.
Yeah, but I don't want to expose him to anything that delays us from starting next year with him and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, I don't think they'll do that even if they put him on the field.
We go to the afternoon game. Cowboys 28, Giants 20.
Play that damn sounder.
In the highest watched non-primetime game since 1990 when the Giants played the 49ers, it averaged over 42 million viewers as Dak was 261-2, both to Dalton Schultz, who was 4 for 31, and CD was 6 for 106 with an 11-yard rush, with 11 yards rushing. Saquon and Zeke both got rushing TDs, but were pretty ineffective otherwise. Danny Nichols, he's terrible.
Terrible.
The Giants are finally showing who we thought they would be at the beginning of the season, as their depth issues and their overall talent issues are now starting to play out.
Well, and kind of their schedule's catching up and leveling out.
Yeah.
They did a lot of smoke and mirrors early on. They didn't play a whole lot of great teams early on.
Well, and they had just crazy thing. I mean, the Baltimore game, Baltimore lost that game. The Giants didn't really win it. You know, they turned the ball over twice late after being ahead by 10, and then the Giants scored 2 touchdowns off turnovers.
I think the highlight of this game for me was watching the 3 guys go into the Salvation Army kettle and the guy play whack-a-mole with them. That was fantastic.
That was pretty good. That was very, very good. Cowboys, they for real. As much as I don't like it, they're for real.
The Eagles are hearing footsteps right now.
Oh, they're not hearing footsteps. They're seeing shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. They play again coming up here. We'll see how that turns out. Thursday night game, Vikings 33, Pats 24. What in the hell happened here?
Mama, here goes that man.
Captain Kirk, 299 and 3 to Jefferson, 9 for 139 and 1. Thielen, 9 for 61 and 1. And Hawkinson, 5 for 43 and 1. The Vikings showed up and got a defensive score. For the most part, Mac Jones looked better than he had all season. 382 and 2. Nelson Aguilar and Hunter Henry, who had a TD he caught while going to the ground on the goal line, overturned from TD to no catch that really hurt the Patriots.
How was it a no catch when his hand was still under the ball?
Because it moved.
Okay, it moved. He was in the middle of the field. The ball didn't ever touch the ground. His hand was underneath of it. Then he caught it again. Should have been the Patriots ball at the 2-foot line.
It's such a mistake when nobody knows what they're going to rule is a catch from game to game.
Game to game, hell, play to play.
Exactly. I mean, that was clearly, did it score a touchdown? No. Did the ball move? Yes. Did the ball ever hit the ground? No. He had possession of it. When it hit his hand, he picked it back up, got possession, rolled over his back, got touched. Should have been their ball right there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's dumb. You know, it's one of those things where they need someone who says, this is why this can't happen this way. It's either a catch or it's a no catch. And
where's Dez at?
Everyone has to be the same.
Where's Dez?
He could be the czar.
Yeah, Dez can be the czar. Wants to catch, wants not to catch.
Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots, 36 rushing, 9 for 76, no TD, but will be a force this week because Damian Harris hurt his thigh in this and is not projected to play Thursday night against the Bills.
You know what's bad is the Patriots have a 6-5 record, and they're in last place in the AFC East.
Yeah, crazy.
And Mac Jones looked like Mac Jones should look like this year. He threw a beautiful ball, controlled the ball, did what he was supposed to with it. Tell you what, the Patriots, for not having a lot of weapons, have been very effective this year. You're going to go weapons. They only have which one?
Defense has kept him in a lot of games.
Defense has been great.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson is really the only weapon they've been able to count on game after game after game.
If they could score 24 points a game,
They'd be 7-3.
They'd be 7-4, maybe 8-3.
Yeah. Sunday night game, Eagles 40, Packers 33. Jalen Hurts became the first QB to run for 100 yards in a quarter, second to pass and run for 125 and a half, and the fourth QB ever to have 150 passing and 150 rushing yards with 2 passing TDs in the game. Can you name the last player to do this?
Randall Cunningham?
Colin Kaepernick in the playoffs against
the Eagles?
The Green Bay Packers.
Oh, against the Packers. Huh.
153 and 2 passing for Jalen Hurts, 157 yards rushing. He threw the touchdowns to Quez Watkins and A.J. Brown, who was 4 for 46 and 1, but had a costly fumble. Miles Sanders was the other rushing demon for the Eagles, 143 and 2 touchdowns, 3 for 17 through the air. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon both did well, 43 rushing, 3 for 56 and 1 for Jones.
Man, did you see the hit Dillon took, though?
Oh, he got
I
thumped.
thought he was going to be out.
I thought the knee was done.
Yeah.
He got thumped.
64 and 1 on the ground, 3 and 24 through the air for Dillon. And then we were talking about Christian Watson pre-show, 4 for 110. I think it was pre-show, 4 for 110 and 1.
We were on the show when we talked about it.
We were on the show and we were talking about him turning the corner.
Yep.
Unbelievable. This kid is fast beyond fast. And his TD came from Jordan Love, who filled in for A-Raj after he left with the oblique injury that he thought was a punctured lung. If you have Christian Watson at this point, congratulations for picking him up off of waivers or holding on to him, but he's a must start.
Yes, he gets a touchdown every week.
Yep.
And even with
least in the
Jordan
last
Love or
three.
with A-Rod, he's going to get a touchdown this coming week.
It's what, 6 touchdowns in 3 weeks for him.
Yeah. I mean, holy man.
He's due for a 0 if the trend holds. The countdown's on.
I don't think it's going to be against the Bears, though.
The thing that intrigues me about the Packers now, and now that we say that Rodgers is probably still going to play, the thing that Love brings to that team that Rodgers just doesn't have anymore is that threat of running.
Well,
he looked really dangerous when he'd get out on the edge, and the run pass was actually a run threat too.
He also brings being a teammate and having compassion for others.
Yeah, como si, como sa.
Now, they have a bye week, not this week, but next week. Mm-hmm. So I'm really interested to see what the playoff picture looks like.
Playoffs?
Because
they're not making the playoffs.
Once they are out, I think they bench Rodgers.
I think they bench Rodgers or not. I think they bench Rodgers now. Actually, his contract,
I don't know.
If I remember correctly, and I'm trying to remember this, his contract is somewhat team friendly after the first year.
I don't think they can cut him this season. I think they can cut him or release him like by the third day of the league year or some weird thing like that.
Yeah.
And designate it as a post June 1, and then it's like manageable.
I'll have the answer for you next week on the air. How's that sound?
Monday night was Steelers 24, Colts 17. Oh, the humanity. Saturday sucks game. On a Monday, and JT 86-1, 3 for 12. Pittman 7 for 61-1, with Jelani Woods coming out of nowhere for 8 for 98.
He's a big dude.
He is a big dude. But Matt Ryan looks done. I said something to Tobin about this pre-show. I said he looks like a guy who thinks that he can do the same thing he did 10 or 12 years ago.
Well, it's like us. We think we can do what we did in high school, right?
Yeah, no, I know I
can't.
No.
I pulled a hamstring just thinking about it.
Yeah, I hurt just trying to land from jumping in the air.
Yeah, no way I can move like I did high school. That rude awakening came to me at the distribution company when I was trying to jump and grab something off of a shelf, and I'm like,
Visa vertical.
Why?
Can you slide it? No, that's big.
Why can I not jump up and grab this? And I was like,
because you're old and fat.
Because I'm like,
there's a Woody Harrelson movie you should probably see.
But then you rename it old fat white men can't jump.
Old fat bald.
Bald.
Yes.
Men, yeah.
I wasn't going to go down the bald route.
We talked about Najee Harris leaving before halftime. He was 36-1 on the ground, 1 for 4 through the air. Already questionable, more than likely not going to play this week. Benny Snell came in and finished off 62-1 on the ground, 1 for 6. George Pickens continues doing good things, 3 for 57 and a 2-point reception. But to Doc's earlier points during the year, Deontay Johnson looks like a wide receiver 3 at best without Big Ben. He was drafted like a wide receiver 1.
Hold on. I was right again?
It is getting cold.
Wow.
It's starting to freeze over, folks.
Darren Waller, Russ Wilson. What else do we need to go down the road for?
Moving right along. Next game, Bengals and Titans.
Talk about a cold, bad game.
There you go. Bengals 20, Titans 16. Bengals got a sack avoidance game from Joe Burrow and watched Samaje Perine outpoint King Henry. 58-1 for Perine, 4 for 35 through the air. 38 on the ground for King Henry, 3 for 79 through the air. But the King fumbled on the 2, and it was recovered in the end zone by Treylon Burks.
And that cost me a game.
Aww.
Yep. Treylon Burks was 4 for 70.
With the
Receiving.
recovery touchdown, he got no points for. He got no points for the touchdown.
In leagues managed by correct scores, he did.
Yeah, I was going to say, he got 6 touchdown points.
No. I didn't get any points for him in the Agents League. None.
Well, I don't manage that league anymore. You'll have to talk to Nick about that. That's a recovery TD. It's supposed to be covered as a rushing TD.
Exactly.
Well,
Nick, you're listening. Look it up and make the change, bitch.
wow.
Hostilities.
T. Higgins did his best. Did his best. I'm the biggest, baddest wide receiver on the field with 7 for 114-1, brutalizing Titans DBs several times.
And he did. I mean, he was obviously the biggest, baddest man in the backfield.
Oh, he was bad. Chargers 25, Cardinals 24. Pretty fun game here that the Cardinals had under control until the end when they could not stop Justin Herbert, who was 274-3, moving the ball down the field to score a TD to Austin Eckler, who had 20 yards, crappy 20 yards rushing, but a whopping 11 for 60 and 1 through the air.
Yeah, 11 points just catching the ball. 6 points for yardage. That's 17 plus a touchdown. There's 23 points just because he can catch the ball in the backfield.
Well, their O-line's a little suspect on the run block. So that is their way of running the football, is getting it to him.
It's a manageable
on
handoff.
The choice in the option route.
Well, my question here is, you say that it was Justin Herbert, the running back. Wasn't it Murray that couldn't do anything right in the last half of the fourth quarter to get a first down, to do anything to keep the defense off the field and keep the clock running?
What is it, Murray? Is it?
I mean, here's the point.
I mean,
since what is it? The new there's a new game that came out that he plays online.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
They haven't won a game since it came out. Why?
Well, because he's busy.
Not 4 hours a day.
Well, yeah, he's not busy studying, that's for sure. He's busy doing Call of Duty.
I wonder what's going on there.
But analytics king Brandon Staley finally got one right with Herbert going to Gerald Everett for the 2-pointer and the lead after the Austin Eckler touchdown. Doc's DeAndre Carter led the receiving group at 7 for 73 and 1. For the Cardinals, Kyler was back, had an okay game passing, 191 and 2, 56 and 1 on the ground. I mean, this is why you have him as a fantasy quarterback, is because he puts up
the 56 and 1.
Yeah, right.
Not because he can throw the ball, because he runs the ball.
Well, I mean, you throw for two and a quarter, 250, and you run for 50 and a TD. I mean, that's 22 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bigger problem here, of course, is they didn't have the slot receiver there. They didn't have Greg Dortch. They didn't have Rondale Moore. That's a huge outlet for Kyler Murray because those little guys just zip and curl around the field.
Well, and no Zach Ertz, which was, I mean,
that's a huge
10
loss.
catches a game.
Yeah. Those three guys are bailout guys for Kyler.
I mean, they've been a mash unit all season. It started on their defense. Now it's the offense.
Yep.
And Kingsbury is going to be the guy that takes the fall for it.
Yeah.
Kime should too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. D-Hop 4 for 87 and 1. The other one was to Connor, who had his first 100-yard rushing game in 2 years, 120 yards rushing, 3 for 20 and 1 through the air. Marquise Brown returned okay. I think he was 4 for 48. Yeah, they're really missing Zach Ertz, Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch, all those little guys there. Well, Zach Ertz is not a little guy, but he's the middle guy. The other game that featured a 2-pointer to win, Jags 28, Ravens 27. First of the day, second of the recap. The team coming back goes for 2 to take the lead and gets it. Spicoli 321 and 3 with a game-winning 2-point pass to Zay Jones, who had a day.
Had his career day.
11 for 145 and the 2-point winner. Lamar has just been okay. 254 and 1, a 2-point pass, and 89 rushing yards. James Hasty filled in for Etienne, 28 yards rushing, but 5 for 67 and 1 through the air. Mark Andrews didn't get a TD. James Oliver did, former Jaguar. And Justin Tucker was a boss, but fell 3 yards short of a 67-yard game-winning field goal, which I guarantee if it was on turf or indoors, he would have made it.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
But on the grass, it wasn't. He couldn't do it.
Now, did it fall 3 yards short, like under the goal, or was it 3 yards short on the field?
3 yards short on the field.
So yeah, you probably need to add an extra 20 feet or 25 feet to the kick.
Yeah, so maybe 5 yards.
Okay.
I mean, but remember the kick that he made from 66 in Detroit,
Doink.
hit the top of the crossbar and bounced in.
Yeah, the doinker.
Yeah. So
the man's still amazing.
I mean,
say what you want to, the man's amazing.
It just was because it was on grass. I guarantee it. Commanders 19, Falcons 13. We are flaming hot like Cheetos. Heineke is the secret sauce again, and Brian Robinson had his breakout game. 105 rushing yards, 2 for 20 and 1 through the air to get things started. A hard-fought game in the rain and wind where Marcus Mariota had a ball tipped and intercepted in the end zone to end the game. Wild.
You need to throw something bigger at him than that.
Yeah.
Whee!
Did you see the move on that?
Yeah.
There's still some life there. That was a good changeup.
The Commodes won the game. I'm not saying they look good because none of the team looked good in this
I
game.
mean, it was the damn Falcons.
It was a win.
It's a win. That's all that matters. An ugly win is still better than a beautiful loss.
Kind of like Doc's golf game. Good thing there's no pictures on the scorecard, folks.
No, no kidding there.
49ers 13, Saints 0. Well, the Saints weren't competitive. They were straight up crappy.
They were horrible.
But
Holy
so
shit.
were the 49ers.
You know who's happy with this result?
The 49ers.
The Eagles. They got the Saints first round draft pick.
Oh, I guess that's true too. Neither team got anything going. Only had a couple of players that broke double digits. 49ers D was the only play worth making in this fantasy wise. Also, we talked about it earlier. Of course, Eli Mitchell has an MCL injury. I mean, he was back 2 games, right?
Yeah. What I find amazing is all the running backs the 49ers got rid of have been healthy all year.
Mm-hmm.
Then they traded for one of the most injury-plagued running backs in history, and he's been healthy since they got him. But the regular running backs can't stay healthy.
Well, but now McCaffrey has knee soreness.
I'm willing to bet he has knee soreness every time he gets up out of bed in the morning.
Mm-hmm. When you've had that many surgeries, you're going to be sore. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
It's all fine.
I mean, it's the 49ers. They're waiting. They're playing for a month from now, not for now.
Yeah, they are in coast mode.
Mm-hmm. They're going, we can win 3-0. We can win 13-0. Who cares as long as we win?
Yeah, we'll get to their game coming up this week too. It's an interesting game for me. Next game, Raiders 40, Seahawks 34 in overtime. Wow.
Josh Jacobs.
People forget it. Right now he's the fantasy MVP. Where you drafted him at and what he's done is amazing.
Yeah, he is the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs in most people's drafts. He can cover up a whole lot of crappy 1st through 5 round draft picks. As good as he's been.
In the BNI league, he is the reason Ross is winning games.
He projected that though.
Sure he did. In the Agents League, he's the reason Nick has won a bunch of games. I mean, everybody who's got him, and of course in the Dynasty League, the number 1 team has Josh Jacobs. That's Seth with Turn Your Head and Goff. He busted a long one in overtime to finish 221-2, 6 for 74 through the air. It was an 86-yarder in overtime. Yeah. And it's just like
he got
through the line and he hit 20 miles per hour for the first time in a game in his career.
Well, I want to know why your cover's 0, 86 yards from the damn goal line in overtime. What are you doing here?
Well, I mean, they're like, all we got to do is stop the run.
I mean,
all we got to do is stop him, and that's it.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll, throw it at the goal line and go cover 0 inside the 20. Sure, makes sense.
Carr was 296-3 to Hollins, Foster Moreau, and Amir Abdullah, not to Devontae, who was 7 for 74, and made an incredible catch while he held a guy off and just kind of like cradled it with one arm along the sideline. Geno was game 328-2, 5 for 22 on the ground. Kenneth Walker, only 26 yards rushing, but had 2 touchdowns, 1 for 13 receiving. Didn't get as much work as I thought he should have, probably because they had to keep playing catch up to the Raiders. DK 11 for 90, but didn't get a key late reception.
I hate when that happens, don't you? It breaks my heart. Doesn't it break your heart?
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about Billy and the phone call I got from him yesterday later.
How many 4-letter words were involved?
A lot. Lockett was 3 for 68 and 1. Crazy game where the Raiders missed a field goal in overtime. Seattle punted, and then Jacobs' 86-yarder finished it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Welcome to the AFC West.
Crazy. And it was actually the anniversary of the Bo Jackson game.
Welcome to the AFC West.
Next game, Chiefs 26, Rams 10.
This was a lot more competitive than what we thought it was going to be. The Rams actually scored.
I figured they'd score. They scored about what I thought they would.
I didn't think it'd be that much, to tell you the truth. That'd be 6 or 7.
I thought it was going to be like 31-10.
I thought it was going to be a 3-fer. Yeah. I thought it was going to be 30-3, 31-3, something like that. Pat to TK opened the scoring. 320 and 1, 4 for 36 on the ground for Pat, 4 for 57 and 1 for TK. But then the Chiefs just put it in cruise control, letting Pacheco brutalize the Rams, 69-1, 1 for 17, and Butker had 4 field goals. Excuse me. For the Rams, Bryce Perkins started, threw a TD to Van Jefferson. That's it.
I was just glad to see they broke double digits. That way it cost somebody some points in games I was playing against because I was playing the Chiefs defense in 2 leagues.
Perkins didn't look bad.
No, he didn't look bad at all.
He started to get a little confidence, and I mean, his O-line's not good. So
No.
I looked at the game. On the field, there's only one player on the Rams field that played for the Rams. I was thinking, I want him back next year. That was Aaron Donald.
Again, that's a maybe.
There's not a lot of talent on the Rams right now.
Good thing they got a lot of draft picks piled up.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Browns 23, Bucks 16 in overtime. Browns went down the field late, Bucks 17 in overtime. Bucks went down the field late and scored to tie, and then got a monster play to Amari Coopers, who was 7 for 94, to get it to the 3 where Nick Chubb finished the game. He was 116 and 1 for 16 through the air. For the Bucks, Rashad White got the start with no playoff Lenny and 64 rushing yards and 9 for 45 receiving to almost tie Chubb in PPR points. Chris Godwin became the second Buck to catch 6+ receptions in 8 games straight and was 12 for 110 and 1.
I remember somebody questioning me last week when I called him the bust out. Did you not read that? 6+ catches in 8 straight games.
Yeah, but he finally got the bust out of the week.
I mean, you got to catch 12 to get credit, right? Wow, that's a tough game.
That's a monster game.
Here I was going to give you credit for taking me as your bust out player, but no.
Like, I remember somebody questioning me last week when I said that.
And then
It finally worked for you, didn't it?
Then some squat beast named Keeft caught Brady's other TD. When this guy caught that, I was like, who in the hell is that?
It's like some dude who won like a drawing in
What the
Tampa
hell is a
on
squat
Tampa
beast?
radio.
You ought to see this guy. He looks like a little fire hydrant. It's like he doesn't have any neck. His helmet sits down into his shoulder pads. Thank you.
Wow.
Next game, I didn't know where to start with that one out.
Dolphins 30, Texans 15. Kyle Allen's not the answer, huh? He threw the piss out of it, 215 and 1, and the Texans only ran it 13 times, 4 by Kyle Allen. For the Finns, Tua was out in the third after getting a ding, 299 and 1 to Durham Smythe.
Who the hell are these guys?
Yeah, Tyreek 6 for 85, Waddle 5 for 85. Huge disappointments. Jeff Wilson Jr. was sure to smash with Mostert out, but he only had 39 yards rushing in a TD and 1 reception for 13 yards. Make sure we check into Tyreek here. I haven't heard anything.
My ankle.
But he left the game early.
It's a hammy.
Mm-hmm. It's always a hammy.
Him and Debo, it's a race to see who's got the more ready to pop hamstring.
I was not impressed at all. Now, it was 30 to zip.
Yeah, it was 30 to zip fast.
Yeah, who cares at that point in time?
But I mean, really, Lovey? Well, we want to give Kyle Allen a shot. Okay, you gave him a shot. You're going to start him again this week against the Browns?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if there's a performance rider in Davis Mills' contract. If
I'm
he
willing to
plays
say
a
yes.
percentage of snaps or hits a percentage of completions or yardage, there's an escalator. I wonder if this is a business decision.
Yeah, who knows?
We might have
order
to
from
dig
the GM?
We might have to dig into that contract a little more.
Jets 31, Bears 10. Fields is hurt. Simeon was going to start, then hurt himself in pregame, and then the Peterman was going to start, but then Simeon took the needle and played.
Hold on. Was it the good doctor or the bad doctor that gave him the needle?
Allegedly, it was the good doctor because he was able to play the whole game.
No punctured lung happened
This
here.
wasn't Tyrod's
Okay,
doc.
exactly.
No.
Mike White looks like he wants the QB1 job for the NYJ, going 315 and 3 to Garrett Wilson, who was 5 for 95 and 2, and Elijah Moore, who was 2 for 64 and 1.
I heard the Mills were chasing Mike White down after the game.
Could have been.
They were
They're
more
off
they
that
were more
bandwagon.
Cougars.
Michael Carter hurt his ankle, and James Robinson was the healthy scratch. I'm guessing J-Rob starts next week.
We'll see.
Panthers 23, Broncos 10 in the crap fest.
God, was this horrible to even think about watching? I watched it for about 5 minutes twice. That way I could kind of, oh my God, I'm trying to figure out what the hell were the Broncos doing thinking about even giving Russ Wilson an extension?
Well, there were high school games played this week that were better than this game.
I'm willing to bet the kid at May South was a better quarterback than anybody on the field down there.
The only reason I wanted to watch this was because I called the under 35 last week on the show, and sure shit, it came in.
Yeah, I would have taken that bet too.
I loaded up on it at that. I was shocked it climbed. I thought it would drop. It went off at 36.5.
It couldn't have got much lower, though.
I mean, it's.
I mean, it
Look at these
could
two
have only
teams.
got
It
a
could have.
point and a half lower.
Yeah.
I mean, but who knew Sam Darnold was going to unlock DJ Moore? 4 for 103 and 1 for him. And Darnold ran one in.
No, he rolled one in.
I guess that is true. He did barrel roll that in. Throwing one, passing for one, isn't this kind of what Russ was supposed to do?
Yep, let's ride.
Well, he didn't, and he
Let's
ain't
roll.
gonna. Russ did throw a TD to B. Johnson. Actually, I've forgotten what his name is. I think it's Brian, but it may not be. Rookie who has 10.2 PPR points on the season after having 2 for 10 and 1 touchdown in this game. Donta Foreman continues with 113 yards rushing, was out when Darnold ran his in. Otherwise, they would have ran it to Donta Foreman, I'm sure. Lat Murray did not blow up like we kind of thought he might. He only got 13 carries, but he did have 92 yards.
It's about a 7-yard carry average.
Yeah,
That's pretty damn good.
but
Handing the ball more.
right, he should have got 5 to 7 more carries at least.
Take the ball out of Russ's hands, put it in his hand, call it good.
Damn sure that is exactly right. On our weekly picks, Doc and Tobin both 11-5 on different games. Strangely enough, I was only 9-7. I'm now in the basement. Doc is still 8 games shy of catching Tobin, so he's going to have to pick up 2 games per week for a while on Tobin, which I don't see if I.
The last
see
2
that
weeks I've gone and combined, 21 and 9?
And you made up what? 2 games?
Made up 2 games.
Yeah.
That means you're doing a hell of a job. I'm doing a hell of a job picking them. You're doing a better job.
I mean, some of us are more degenerate than others.
He is the leader in the clubhouse.
I wasn't going to go there, but yes, you're right.
All right, we'll be right back with waivers and top 5s.
After you've listened to Warsquared and have your lineups locked in for the week, we invite you to go over and check out 3 Dogs and a Dude. It's a podcast inspired by 3 crazy rescue dogs and their dude who like having conversations with interesting people. You never know who might pop into the studio as a guest, and we guarantee some laughs. Check out 3 Dogs and a Dude wherever you get your podcasts. Indian Media Productions is your one-stop shop for all of your media creation needs. Whether it's producing a podcast like the one you're listening to, or maybe you just need some video for your social media and websites, sales and promotional videos, or even TV commercials, we've got you covered. Check us out at IndianMediaPro.com.
All right, we're going to come back here and we're jump right into waivers. For me, the number one waiver ad, if he's out there, is Deshaun Watson. He's going to immediately start.
If you're playing a league that people haven't picked him up already, please let us know. We'd like to play in that league.
He's available in 63% of
I
ESPN
stashed
leagues.
Deshaun Watson away back in week 4 on 2 teams where I had Dak Prescott as my starting quarterback. Guess who's getting cut now?
Number 2 for me, Treylon Burks. We told you him last week. The same availability as Deshaun at ESPN, 63% availability. Guys, he's the number 1 in Tennessee right now. It's not close.
Oh, yeah. He's in Tennessee's offense is starting to round out and become balanced where it's between offense and defense. Between pass and rush at this point in time.
Speaking of guys coming around, Zay Jones, 69% available on ESPN, and they play the Lions this week.
Ain't no defense in that building.
The Lions.
I don't know. The Lions held the Bills to how many points?
28. Yeah,
That's pretty damn good. And the week before that, they held the other team to how many points?
Yeah, they held Josh Allen to 253-2 and 78-1.
That's pretty damn good, actually. You know that?
Yeah,
still not impressed.
that's a lot of fantasy points. I don't think they're going to be holding people back. My next guy there is Jordan Love. I'm betting against Rodgers coming back and staying back, especially after the bye. I'd say get him now because they're going to turn him loose and see what he's got.
They got to find out before they give him that 5th-year extension where they got something or not. If they do, they're gonna be an interesting offseason in Green Bay, isn't it?
Yep. And then my number 5 is Jordan Mason. He's the one who came in after Eli Mitchell left, and maybe he's the backup in San Francisco now.
It'll matter 2 games, he'll be injured.
Maybe he will, but he's at least something going forward.
I want to add Benny Snell to that list, who's perceived to be the starting running back in Pittsburgh now with Najee Harris out injured. Peoples-Jones, wide receiver for Cleveland. Now that Deshaun's back, he's going to become something, the wide receiver is going to be worth something in Cleveland for the first time in a while, other than Cooper. Jameson Williams, keep an eye on him. I love him. I think he's going to be an absolute stud in this league. I think if they play him and they let him play, he could be a person that makes it, he could be a win a playoff game type person. And Jermichael Hasty.
Hasty looked good. If Etienne's more than a week out, Hasty looks serviceable.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, and again, they play Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if
in
Etienne is
Jacksonville.
out, no, it's in.
I thought it was in Jacksonville. I'm sorry.
It's in Detroit, so it's on the fast track.
Yeah, it's on the turf, which might lead to them keeping Etienne out another week. Honestly,
Maybe.
depending on what the injury is. I haven't even seen him talk about it.
Healthy scratch because he was on the sidelines and his helmet was still accessible to him.
Yeah, he
didn't
wasn't.
use him.
They said he wasn't in a boot or using crutches in post game. So
They held him out for preventative reasons. Of course, at the point they were holding him out, the Ravens were holding serve, and it didn't look like the Jags were going to come back, and then they just kind of eventually got there.
Mm-hmm.
Going with the top 5s at QB, I'll go with Patrick Mahomes as my number 1 until further notice. I'll put Jalen Hurts at 2, Josh Allen at 3, Joe Burrow at 4, Justin Herbert at 5.
I've got Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts because Tennessee's going to spy him and hurt his rushing statistics. If you look at Philadelphia, they got to keep him in the pocket, make him throw the ball. Running the ball, something Tennessee stops. Joe Burrow. Then I've got Tua and Deshaun Watson. I threw Deshaun Watson. Here's number 6. He's going to go to Houston. Cleveland could do him a solid and just let him throw the ball over the field and see what happens.
it's going to be interesting. I mean, when you've had that much time off, the timing's going to be a challenge. He's been back at practice. He's only been getting limited with the ones until this week. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still an NFL defense on the other side.
It is, and I'll be interested.
Even if it's a bad one.
And I'll be interested to see what his rapport is with his receivers, because there's going to be one of those guys that he's got a huge rapport with. I mean, just like in Houston, Will Fuller was his guy.
No. Are you kidding me? You just said earlier in the show that there are 10 of his massage therapists coming. He's got, here's 3, Mari. Here's a couple for you. Here's a couple for you and Njoku. I mean, come on. He's going to have rapport, brother.
Yeah, well, I think the person, if I had to pick one Cleveland wide receiver to look at, I'd take David Bell and look at him, or David Ball, I'm sorry. He's been a backup wide receiver who's starting to get a lot more time, a lot more touches, a lot more looks. He's been on the field a lot more with Deshaun Watson than he has with Jacoby Brissett to now.
It's possible. Running back, I'll go with Nick Chubb, Kenneth Walker, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, and then Aaron Jones.
Yep. Can we move Austin Eckler from running back to wide receiver?
Nope.
Technically, no.
Okay. Then I'm going to have to go with Nick Chubb, Kenneth Walker, Eckler, Henry, and Josh Jacobs. I mean, why Josh Jacobs got to crack the top 5 at some point in time.
Like, how is he only 5 after everybody's saying he's the MVP of fantasy football right now?
There is some talk he may not play this week.
Yep. He is listed as questionable.
Is he tired?
Well, he did have a calf strain that it did aggravate, I guess,
Well, I mean,
on
he's
the
run for what, 500 yards in the last 2 weeks?
When he reached 20 miles an hour, it apparently went, the governor kicked in.
I don't know. Are they going to pay the man is my question.
No.
Probably not. because they don't pay running backs in New England, so they probably aren't going to pay running backs in Las
I'm
Vegas.
gonna go ahead and invite him to come over to Kansas City too. We'll take all the retreads.
Yeah, you'll just have all of them. That is one thing I don't think we addressed, but Melvin Gordon did sign to the Chiefs practice squad.
No, we dropped it.
Good one.
Wow.
But
Just like he did.
Josh Jacobs is not expected to practice at all this week.
The man's tired. He carried the whole damn team for a game.
Well, he's gonna be at the craps table all week.
Now-
He's good.
Now,
Elbow might be
one thing I don't think we've talked about on the show for a long time is Josh Jacobs is like former running back Travis Henry. He has got at least 8 kids with at least 6 different women.
Somebody needs to wrap that thing before he
He's
puts
the
it in
Nick
place
Cannon
special.
of the NFL.
No,
Yes.
he's the Sean Kemp of the NFL.
He is single-handedly repopulating the planet.
He's the Sean Kemp.
He does need paid.
Yeah, he got to get paid soon too.
Yes. Otherwise, in 10 years, like Terrell Owens, he'll be upside down on child support. Wide receivers. My number one's A.J. Brown. If you don't think he's going to torch the Titans, I can't believe that you didn't have Jalen Hurts higher because of that. I'll go with Devontae Adams, especially if Josh Jacobs is limited or out. Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You think JJ is going to get off on Sauce? That's going to be an interesting matchup this week.
What I expect is that they won't always have Sauce on JJ.
That'll be interesting to watch.
Well, I've got Justin Jefferson my number one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't not put him there. I mean,
Yeah.
dude's a freak.
Dude's
But this week's going to be interesting. As an owner of him in one of the leagues, it's like this week worries me a little bit.
I've got Devontae Adams number 2. My number 3 is A.J. Brown. But I think Tennessee's going to
Save your pick for later.
do everything they can to stop him from touching the ball as often as possible.
Save your pick for later.
Good
Then
luck with that.
I got Waddle's my number 4 and Jamar Chase is my number 5 if he plays, which he's on course to play. And I think he's going to come back and show T. Higgins who the actual number 1 wide receiver in Cincinnati is.
Well, so T. Higgins just tore up the Titans. Who's better, T. Higgins or A.J. Brown?
That's a no-brainer. It's not T. Higgins.
It's not T. Higgins.
I don't see how A.J. Brown's not going to smoke the Titans.
You know, there's that.
I think there's a reason you wanted Devontae Smith this week, is what I think.
Oh, no. Really, I wanted him next week.
My tight ends are Travis Kelce,
Mark Andrews.
Mark
They're
Andrews.
at the top.
Hawkinson,
He's taken over number 3.
Schultz, and Kittle.
I have Schultz, and then I have Freiermuth. I'm not taking Freiermuth out of there. He missed a touchdown and a beat of you in the Dynasty League last night by 2 yards.
I hate when that happens, don't you?
Literally 2 yards. I mean, it was. I think it was at the 3 when he ran out on that
I hate when that happens.
out route.
I don't know. I was asleep at that time. Trying to recover from Tommy gave me.
Segment
Guys, this
4,
isn't that kind of show.
league recaps, Dynasty League. I got past the Trogs. Doc escaped against Zane, as we just talked about, because Freiermuth didn't get in the end zone. Turbin curb stomped the projector.
Turbin? I'm not Turbin.
Tobin?
He returns for the Cowboys, right?
No.
Oh, that's Turpin.
It's one of those guys. The biggest shocker was Billy getting upset by Shook. So what we talked about earlier, I asked, Billy called yesterday.
I would have avoided that phone call for a
Wait.
little
Did
while.
it sound something like this?
No, there's not enough 4-letter words involved with that one.
There are definitely not enough
Oh.
F words in those tiers.
Was the whole conversation right there.
That was basically it. So he said, I was pretty sure at one point I was ahead. I go, well, you were. You didn't see the DK play? No. I go, okay. So DK catches the ball. That would have been his 12th reception for about 11 yards,
2.1 points.
which put him ahead of Shook, but then it got overturned.
Minus 1.21
Right.
points. Loser.
So that got Billy a big ol' L.
Sir.
Yes. And now that Zane lost to Doc, He is, I believe he's 2 games away from pancakes.
He is, I believe, 1 game away from pancakes. At
He's
this
got
point
2
in time.
wins. There's 2 guys with 4 wins, and there's 3 weeks to go.
Okay.
His magic number is effectively 0 to double cake.
Speaking of double cake, in the BNI League, Doc beat Joe. Tobin doubled up Brandon, who apparently is still in Washington. And
Did he have a valid lineup this time?
He actually had a lineup
Wow.
this time.
he did. I lost to Randy when Matt Ryan fumbled the handoff that JT would have scored on.
Now, wait, was it JT that
Allegedly.
fumbled or was it Ryan that fumbled? Who got credit for the fumbles? The question.
Ryan.
It
All
should have
right.
been JT's.
I think it was JT because we talked about this. I think
Yeah.
JT saw the pressure and was stimming away.
JT,
I think it was
JT
on
said,
JT.
I don't think so, Jack. I
As
don't
a
want the
former
ball."
quarterback, that's never on the quarterback, even though that's who always gets the credit for it. Just going to say that.
Because he never got the ball to him.
Whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't want that damn thing. Don't stick it there.
The projector smash
always
shook.
wrong.
Thank you. The projector smash shook. Megan smashed Allie. And Zane has officially locked up pancakes in this one. He is 3 games behind with 2 to go.
And Megan's moved into first place, I
Yes,
do believe
she
I
has.
spied, in the Tupac division.
Yes, she
And
has.
that's you guys' division, right, Tommy?
Yes, it is.
The crappy division.
It is the 500 division.
Pretty much.
Everybody's 500, aren't they?
Everybody's within 2 games of 500, one way or the other.
Right.
Wow, you guys suck.
Okay, we don't have Zane in our division that we're pancaking left and right. Scott Fishbowl, half of the Wichita League that we're in, made the cut and are in the playoffs. Unfortunately, our team is not.
Shocker, you drafted it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, I know. It's easy. It's always a smash.
It's easy to pick on that league because league was a whole new adventure for you, and I'm going to just pick on you as long as I possibly can.
Yeah,
about that
sure,
one.
no problem. In the Agents League, I beat Wardo, but Freddie beat Marty. So I need Satan to beat Freddie next week to get an advantage. And I've already talked to Satan about it. I've already made a deal with the devil. Apparently he is game to try to beat Freddie. He all but eliminated Toby this week, and Doc lost to Brad.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, let's see. Let me pull up the scores here for you. First of all, Traylon Burks did get credit for a touchdown that he did score.
Well, that's your fault.
Oh yeah, his LA Clippers quarterback went off for 36 points.
Well, you suck.
Well, I have Dak. Need I say more about how sucky my quarterback position is?
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah.
You also drafted A-Rod instead of Joe Burrow like I...
Are you high?
That's right. That's what I said.
You did. But you know what happens this week? I get Deshaun at quarterback.
No, okay. Well,
And all I have to do is really win one of my last 2 games to make the playoffs.
yeah. Now, since I beat Wardo, Doc still has a prayer, but it's not good. Darren won again. He's on top of Doc's division and is probably in the clear.
I've got to win basically 1 game to make the playoffs. Not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying that basically that's all I have to do because I'm on a 5-game losing streak in that league at this point in time.
Yeah. It is to laugh because 5 weeks ago, Doc was in here crowing about, I'm the number 1 team in the Dynasty League.
I
I
was
got the
doing
most
great
points
5
scored.
weeks
I'm
ago.
in first place. I'm the number 1 in
And
the
then Brees Hall got
BNI
hurt.
League. I'm in first place.
DeMar Chase got hurt.
I'm number 1 in the
Leonard
Agents
Fournette
League.
got
I'm in
hurt.
first place.
I figured it out. I'm going to rename you. Hello, Cliff. Mr. Kingsbury.
Oh,
Mine is honestly just be healthy.
We're not
If my
talking
team-
cheers, Cliff. We're
if
talking
my team can be
Kingsbury.
healthy, I'm okay, but it's not healthy. Now we're getting healthy now.
we need
so
a
we'll see what
picture
happens.
of Doc sitting out in his little clubhouse by his pool.
Uh-huh.
You know, all the Cliff Lair photo from the draft 2 years ago.
Oh, my view's not near as beautiful as his was.
We could Photoshop.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to.
We could Photoshop. Can be arranged. I know a guy who has that
now that
software.
now that my team's
got a
healthy,
guy.
if Jamar Chase comes back, I'll be perfectly okay.
I'm hearing a bunch of excuses. I don't know
Like
what
I
you're
told Billy this last week, I texted me wishing me happy Thanksgiving. He says, "You too. Hope you make the playoffs. I hope you can get back in contention." I said, "Don't worry, I will," and I did.
Okay, Pumpkin.
He
Gonna
did.
be
We just got to
interesting.
get healthy.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Got to
All
stay
right.
healthy. That's all we got to do.
2 weeks left in the BNI regular season, 3 weeks left in the Dynasty. It's
Just Just got to stay healthy.
Well, there's a reason that the Nutcracker is such a popular show this time of year.
It is TIT tight.
Just got to stay healthy.
And with that, we'll be out of here for this week. Those of you who want to, please stick around for the bonus segment with the previews. And we'll see everybody next week. Peace